Well, I really don't buy that. I think Fundbox is a great company and they've been around for a while now. So in today's conversation, I want to talk to you about Fundbox business line of credit. Maximum line amount here we have $150,000. Don't go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sort of Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you had to ask me. If you are doing as great and blessed as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to talk to you about the Fundbox business line of credit. The maximum line amount here, $150,000. You have to repay over 12 or 24 weeks. And we love the fact that the FICO score, the starting FICO score here is 600. Wonderful. So Fundbox is basically an online lender specializing in short-term financing to small and mid-sized businesses, okay? And specifically, they offer revolving lines of credit and small business cash flow solutions. That's what they do, okay? And what we love is that they also introduce short-term loans. So this is really great. And it is basically a platform that is easy and convenient when it comes to financing for new and small businesses. So if you're listening to me right now and you are a new business, you can get a loan with Fundbox, not a problem, okay? And it's important to understand that when we talk about services offered by Fundbox, we have three main services. We have lines of credit. So those are similar to credit cards. You actually have a set amount of credit that you can use. And when you draw from that line of credit to receive cash, only then will you start to pay interest on the amount borrowed, okay? And Fundbox provides revolving lines of credit with a 12 or a 24-week repayment window. And then you have term loans. So Fundbox also offers term loans, and term loans are like your traditional loans, okay? You get a lump sum of money upfront from Fundbox, and in return, you will repay the loan plus interest in regular installments over an agreed upon amount of time. This is really good. And they also have other services. And so if you have a Fundbox line of credit, Fundbox will also give you a flex account you can use to pay vendors, payroll, or other business expenses. So this depends on your business. And you can repay Fundbox using a connected bank account or a credit card within a 3-day grace period, or the outstanding amount will be drawn from your credit line. So those are things you need to think about. And their customer service is wonderful. We believe that Fundbox has excellent customer support, and they have several support options, including phone, email, and a support center. And the Help Center FAQ explains a lot what you need to know about Fundbox, including troubleshooting, okay? So our score for this player, 9.5 over 10. I want to talk to you about the pros and cons of Fundbox. Again, folks, I am speaking to you today about a line of credit from Fundbox, maximum line amount $150,000, okay? What are the pros for this line of credit? You have multiple types of financing that are available. There are a few extra fees. Normally, when you are in this business, you have a lot of fees. You know, you think about Lendio, you think about Blue Vine, you have a lot of fees. But with Fundbox, you have a few extra fees, discounts for repaying early. Okay, the application process is very fast and easy, and funds are dispersed quickly. And you have multiple avenues of customer support. I just said that, right? You have FAQ center, you have email, phone, support center. You have a lot of options. What about the cons of using Fundbox? Now, borrower qualifications might be hard to meet, but remember the minimum FICO is 600, and rates can be expensive depending upon the industry you're in and the state you are applying from. And repayments are required frequently. So you have weekly repayments. Now, this could be disruptive to your cash flows, but again, this is how Fundbox, they are covering their ass. This is how they are mitigating risk, okay? They want you to pay frequently so that they don't have, they can reduce the risk of default. So when we think about Fundbox, you know, in terms of when you go online and do some research about Fundbox. You have positive reviews from customers, positive reviews and testimonials, but also negative reviews. Okay, so a lot of people have said that Fundbox is really great when it comes to their fast and easy application process, and we have seen that also when we were testing their products. And people have said that there are a few additional fees in terms of the whole line of credit. Okay, and they have good customer support. As a matter of fact, if you go on Trustpilot, Fundbox has received a 4.8 over 5. That their score, and they have been reviewed by 3,272 people as of the date of this show. You can see on the screen here. So this is really great, okay? And they've got a couple of negative reviews and complaints. So people have talked about, when it comes to complaints, people have talked about the credit limit was too small. In some cases, they were too expensive, and people have said that they had some communication issues. Okay, so it was the communication was a little, I would say, sporadic. That's what some people said. But again, what we love is that Fundbox has addressed these complaints. Okay, so overall, here is a solid player, a lender who is very responsive. Nobody is perfect. They're constantly innovating their process. They're constantly improving the process. But yeah, so if they have problems, they are quick to address them. To address the problem. So this is really good. I want to talk to you about the requirements, folks. We are still having a conversation about the Fundbox business line of credit with the maximum amount of $100,000. Okay, what are the requirements? So, time in business 6 months minimum. Ideally 1 year. So if you're a startup or a very young business, you can still qualify for this line of credit as long as you have a solid business plan or a solid business performance plan. The credit score 600 minimum. The revenue $100,000 a year. So those are the three main requirements for this line of credit. And once you meet those, there are others, but yeah, please be very careful about your business and personal credit scores. Usually Fundbox doesn't check those, but I mean, they do check because they want you to have a FICO score of 600. But what I'm trying to say is that the business score doesn't matter much. But however, you want to pay attention to your paydex from Dun & Bradstreet, and you want to do everything that is possible to actually set up an account with Dun & Bradstreet, have a DUNS number, and start building business credit also. This is very important. Okay, and in terms of annual business revenue and profits, so Fundbox is looking for a gross revenue of $100,000. That's the minimum per year. So we're talking about making sure that you make at least $9,500 a month. That's in gross revenue. Okay, and there are a lot of ways you can actually monitor your performance in your business. You can look at your cash flows through the statement of cash flows. Right, there's something called cash flows from operating activities, cash flow from investing activities, and cash flows from financing activities. You also have your income statement, aka your statement of profit and loss, your P&L. You want to pay attention to your time in business. Fundbox wants you to be in business for at least 6 months, okay, ideally 1 year. Pay attention to your debt to income ratio. This is important because Fundbox in some cases will review your debt to income ratio to determine whether you can afford to take an additional debt. Okay, and pay attention to your debt service coverage ratio also. This is actually a very important metric that Fundbox sometimes will pay attention to, because the debt service coverage ratio measures your business's annual net operating income in relation to its total annual debt. Okay. And some cases, Fundbox will want to look at your industry, because your industry matters a lot, okay? And because each industry has a different risk factor, and Fundbox is restricted from working with certain industries, okay, such as adult entertainment businesses, gambling businesses, and not-for-profit businesses. So before you apply, you want to contact the lender to check your industry's eligibility. And in some cases, they might want you to have a business plan, okay? So you can have a business plan that is replete, that is filled with financial projections, that tells Fundbox about the purpose of the loan, the purpose of using the loan, your industry outlook, and competitive analysis. Let's talk about rates and fees. This is very important, folks. We want to talk about rates and fees. So we are still having a conversation about the Fundbox business line of credit, And we love the fact that when we went through the whole research here, Fundbox is very transparent when it comes to their rates and fees. Very transparent. And if you go to the website, they have clarity around the interest rate, around the repayment process. So we believe that when it comes to sales and advertising, they are very transparent. Okay, remember that their primary services are their line of credit and the term loan. And so while both services have similar terms and fees, they operate in a slightly different way. Okay, so let's talk about the line of credit, which is really the principal topic of today's conversation. So a Fundbox line of credit will work well for just about any smaller B2B or B2C business, even those without good credit. Remember, the minimum credit is $600. Okay, so here are the rates. So the borrowing amount goes from $1,000 to $150,000, $150,000. The term length, 12 or 24 weeks. It's either or. And the borrowing fee starts at 4.66%. There is no draw fee. Okay, so the amount that you are eligible for will depend on the strength of your business's financials, and Fundbox may increase your credit line in time. So don't worry about it. Don't worry if you get a low limit to start with. Don't be discouraged at all, because they will bump you up very soon. If they start you at $100,000, that's really great. Just take the money. Take the money, use it, and repay it. Be financially responsible with the money, and over time they will basically just bump you up. Okay. And one thing you need to understand is that as a borrower, you can request funds from your line of credit at any time. The funds will be deposited in your business bank account within 1 or 2 business days, depending on the time of day the funds were requested. And Fundbox does not charge any draw fees or money transfer fees when you request funds. Okay. So remember, this is a revolving line of credit, which means that your credit line replenishes as you repay the borrowed money. Okay. And the only thing you need to pay attention to is the repayment window. So repayments are made in equal installments over 12 weeks or 24 weeks. Okay, this is something to really pay attention to, and you want to budget that in your cash flows accordingly. I want to talk to you about the term loan because besides their business line of credit, Fundbox has a business term loan. It's pretty interesting to kind of think about that also, because in case you are not approved for the business line of credit for whatever reason, you might want to give the term loan a chance or a look. Okay, and so Fundbox term loans program is currently described as a great program, and but you have to qualify for it because it has not been rolled out nationwide yet. And so you have to give them a call and see if they will take you in. So here are the details you need to know. So the borrowing amount up to $150,000. The term length here, you have 24 or 52 weeks. So it's a little more than what you have with line of credit. Okay, the borrowing fee starts at 8.33%. There is no origination fee. This is really good, okay? And there is no collateral requested. So this is really good. So we love the fact that there is no origination fee. When I think about it, because unlike other term loans, there is no origination fee to establish a Fundbox term loan, and this is really good. There's even no prepayment penalty. So flexible terms to meet your needs. So you can pay off your loan early with no prepayment penalty, and you can move fast confidently. We love the fact that you can complete your business loan application in just a few easy steps, and you can get a credit decision in minutes. Okay, funds transfer as soon as the next business day. In some cases, you might even have a soft pull. In other words, there is no hard credit inquiry about this loan, and you can see how much you qualify for. Okay, one thing I want to say here is that the loan amounts can go up to $150,000. The average is around $20,000 to $80,000. Okay, so you really have to have a solid business plan. You got to have solid financials, because it's all about your cash flows. It's all about your bank statements. It's all about your liquidity movements, right? Your cash inflows and your cash outflows. Okay, remember that Repayment takes place on a weekly schedule with a term length of either 24 or 52 weeks. So after you have repaid 50% of your loan, you may qualify for additional funding. Okay, and this is something you need to think about. And the fee again, it starts at 8.33 for 24-week terms and 18% for 52-week terms. So if we have to annualize this APR here, it's 18%. So if you borrow from Fundbox with the term loan, you are paying 18% on a 52-week basis. Is that too expensive? We think so. But again, if you need the money and you have a great business opportunity, actually there's coming up, you might want to give this a thought. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another session of the Awesome 150K Show. We're also having a conversation about the Fundbox business line of credit, and I want to quickly talk to you about the application process, folks. So what we love is that the application process is excellent. The process is great. They have a speedy application process, and you need to understand that the whole thing is fully automated. Okay, they will actually pay attention. By the way, they will pay attention to your accounting software also. In some cases, they might pay attention to your accounting software, okay, depending on the state you're applying from. And so most borrowers will receive a funding decision within a few minutes. And if you are approved and you like the rates that you have received, you can begin requesting funds immediately. And term loan offers are valid for 30 days, and funds generally hit your bank account the next business day, depending on the time of day you made the request, okay? This is really important. And if you want to speed up the process, there are some documents that are commonly required for business loans, especially with Fundbox. Again, it depends on the industry you're applying, the industry your business is in, or the state you're applying from. But here are a few documents that you might have to provide, okay? So first, we are talking about your bank statements. They might request your bank statements. They might want to see your personal and business tax returns. So we're talking about your 1040, in addition to your 1065, 1120S, or 1120C. They might want to see your business licenses and permits. In some cases, this is important for Fundbox. And your employee identification, your employer identification number, right? We're speaking about your EIN, of course. And if you have a proof of collateral, now the line of credit or the loan, basically, those are unsecured, so no collateral required. But if you want to show Fundbox that you are financially solid, your business is financially vibrant, you might want to show what kind of assets you have on your balance sheet, okay? And of course, they will see your balance sheet. In other words, they will see your assets, your liability, and your equity. So the equity is important, your statement of equity. This is important to see what kind of movements are happening in the accounting reports that tracks stakeholders' cash inflows and cash outflows. Okay, they might want to see a copy of your commercial lease and a disclosure of other debts. What I'm trying to say here is that the higher the amount, the loan amount or the line of credit amount that you are requesting, the deeper they want to do some research to know that your business really is solid, okay? And so they might want to see your accounts payable and accounts receivable aging and ownership and affiliations here. This is important for Fundbox, and also legal contracts and agreements. Okay, and they will see your driver's license for identification purposes, business insurance plans, payroll records, incorporation documents. So we're speaking about articles of incorporation for S corps and C corps, and articles of organization for LLCs. Okay, and in some cases they'll ask you for a business plan. I've already said that. I want to quickly talk to you about alternatives, folks. Obviously, Fundbox is a great company. We believe that it's a worthwhile, it's a company worth looking at, but there are alternatives. So if for any reason you were not approved by Fundbox, there are a few competitors I want you to think about. So we have Rapid Finance, okay? So Rapid Finance is, it's great. They are asking you for a minimum time in business, 1 to 2 years, required annual revenue less than $100,000, and the borrowing amount less than $50,000 all the way to $1 million. And in some cases, they offer also a business line of credit, okay? So you're looking at, so Rapid Finance is more generous when it comes to lines of credit and business loans than Fundbox. So you have $50,000 all the way to $1 million. And then you have Excel Capital. So this is also an online lender offering unsecured business loans, business lines of credit, and other similar financial products. Okay, so minimum time in business, less than 1 year. The required annual revenue, $100,000. The borrowing amount, less than $50,000, all the way to $1 million. So you have the same branch here, $50,000, all the way to $1 million. Okay, and the minimum time to funding, 1 day. Then we have Fundwise Capital, and this is another funder, another lender rather, and they're a financial service company that specializes in connecting qualified customers with third-party funders. So you have, this is more like a marketplace lender. Okay, they are asking for a credit score that starts at 650. The borrowing amount less than 50,000 all the way to $1 million, and the minimum time to funding 2 weeks. Okay, up to it depends. It's really between 1 and 2 weeks, really. And then you have Lendio. And Lendio, we love Lendio. Lendio is a business financing platform, another marketplace lender. Okay, and so they want a credit score of 650, minimum time in business 1 to 2 years, required annual revenue less than $100,000. The borrowing amount goes from $50,000 all the way to $1 million, and minimum time to funding 1 day. Okay, this is really good. And then you have Bluevine, which is another great place. So Bluevine is an online lending service that is suited for small businesses. So minimum time in business less than 1 year, credit score 600. The required annual revenues $100,000, and the borrowing amount less than $50,000 all the way to $250,000. Okay, and minimum time to funding 1 day. So this is a really, so you have, and we have covered a lot of those lenders. We have covered them on other shows on our program and in depth, and so for example Lendio and Bluevine, and so here you have it. You have alternatives in case you don't like Fundbox or you are not approved for the business line of credit or business term loan. You can apply with alternative lenders. All right, folks, this is it for today's conversation. I was talking to you about Fundbox business line of credit. The maximum line amount is $150,000 and $150,000. So I gave you an overview. I talked about the pros and cons, the requirements, the rates and fees, the term loan, the application process, and I gave you, of course, alternatives. Thank you so much for your attention. I'll see you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.